Hi, everyone. Good evening. Welcome and happy Christmas Eve to you. My name is Susan Oberlin, and I'm the assistant minister here at the center, and it is my honor to welcome you here to our Christmas Eve candle lighting service. It's one of my favorites. We're just so happy that the choir is here. We're just so happy that you're here. And I'd just like to start off by saying that this is kind of our family service. So could we have an agreement that kind of puts our parents' minds at ease, that if their little ones, shout out or squirm or giggle, can we let that be okay?
Amen.
Awesome. Because we didn't make childcare arrangements for tonight. It's the family time, so it's the time where everybody comes to the table and is welcomed, and especially all of you. So I would like to take a moment to invite you, while children's noises are okay, we prefer no cell phones. So if you could take a moment to turn off anything that vibrates or dings or buzzes, that would be great if you would shut your phones off for the duration of the service. And please take a minute to say hi to somebody that's sharing your vicinity.
The reason why I went here, well, for those of you who don't know me, I'm David Miller, and I'm the senior minister and the director here at the center. But I'm sitting next to Ceci Cox, who happens to be Damien's mother.
Amen.
Damien's the man who has a red tie on. And Ceci says to me as Damien was about to sing, I've never heard him sing publicly. I've only heard him sing from karaoke after 6 or 7 James. So I think it was a very big night.
Amen, amen. And on that note, why don't we take a moment to still ourselves and begin our evening with an opening prayer. I invite you to get comfortable, whatever a prayer pose looks like for you. Maybe close your eyes, take a deep breath. And just allow yourselves to be in this stillness for a moment. In this space of beauty. In this space of connection and community. Because when we take that, we remember. It has so many names. And none of them can even describe the magnificence of what I call God. You may call it something else. Power, source, universe, Lord, Christ, consciousness. It has many names and no names, and it is here right now. It's just so easy to get quiet and feel it. Something descends. Something surrounds. Something inspires. And suddenly becomes a whisper. It starts deep within. Like the strains of a chorus that starts off so slowly and beautifully and then builds and builds and rises, and before you know it, you're swept away with it. That is the power. That is the source. That is love. And so tonight, it is Christmas Eve. It is that holy time, that sacred time. We are here, but we are joined because of that oneness, because of that power, because of that God. We are joined with people all over the world, in so many nations and so many countries, for that same purpose. To be a light, to celebrate the light, to recognize the birth of this consciousness, this Christ child, this Christ consciousness. Because that is the meaning. That is what tonight is about. That is what tomorrow, this beautiful Christmas day, this Christmas Eve, this celebration, and no matter what you celebrate, no matter what tradition you come from, something is calling us deeper. This light that is shining within each and every one of us is that same light that 3 wise men maybe followed a long time ago. And it led them to something. And whatever faith tradition you belong to or believe in, whatever your background was, or whatever you love and celebrate now, it is always about that light pulling us and calling us deeper. It is always about that consciousness, that way of being. And it is a way of peace. It is a way of love. It is a way of beauty. And so I invite you to be in that consciousness this evening, to just let the message and the music and the celebration and the fellowship and the community wash over you. And I invite you to anchor this opening prayer with me in gratitude by simply saying, and so it is.
So it is.
Awesome, and so it is. I'd like to offer a reading to get us started this evening. This was back, it's actually old. It's from 1897. And many of you are familiar with it, but I invite you to hear it perhaps tonight with different ears, to hear it in a different way. Because in 1897, there was a little girl named Virginia O'Hanlon who wrote a now very famous letter to the New York Sun. And I'm going to read that letter to you and then the reply she received from Francis P. Church, who was the editor of the New York Sun at the Times, and it was a very prestigious paper. Dear editor, I am 8 years old, and some of my little friends say that there is no Santa Claus. Papa says, if you see it in the sun, it is so. Please tell me the truth. Is there a Santa Claus? And the editor replied, Virginia, your little friends are wrong. They have been affected by the skepticism of a skeptical age. They do not believe except what they see. They think that nothing can be which is not comprehensible by their little minds. All minds, Virginia. Whether they be men's or children's or big people's, all minds are little. In this great universe of ours, man is a mere insect, an ant in his intellect as compared with the boundless world about him, as measured by the intelligence capable of grasping the whole truth and knowledge. Yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus. He exists as certainly as love and generosity and devotion exist, and you know that they abound and give to our life its highest beauty and joy. Alas, how dreary would the world be if there were no Santa Claus? It would be as dreary as if there were no Virginians. There would be no childlike faith then, no poetry, no romance to make tolerable this existence. We should have no enjoyment except in sense and sight. The eternal light with which childhood fills the world would be extinguished. Not to believe in Santa Claus? You might as well not believe in fairies. You might get your papa to hire men to watch all the chimneys on Christmas Eve to catch Santa, but even if they did not see Santa Claus coming down, what would that prove? Nobody sees Santa Claus, but that is no sign that there is no Santa Claus. The most real things in the world are those that neither children nor men can see. Did you ever see fairies dancing on the lawn? Of course not. But that's no proof that they're not there. Nobody can conceive or imagine all the wonders that are unseen and unseeable in this world. You tear apart the baby's rattle and see what makes the noise inside, but there is a veil covering the unseen world, which not the strongest man nor even the united strength of all the strongest men that have ever lived could tear apart. Only faith, fancy, poetry, love, romance can push aside that curtain and view and picture the supernatural bounty and beauty and glory beyond. Is it all real? No, Virginia. In all this world, there is nothing else as real and abiding. No Santa Claus. Thank God he lives, and he lives forever. 1,000 years from now, maybe 10 times, 10,000 years from now, he will continue to make glad the hearts of children. Please join me in 2 minutes of silent reflection.
with each passing cable car. An Irish coffee greets us at the Buena Vista bar. The Golden Gate is glowing on this cool December night, and the city's highest towers shine like presents wrapped in light. For it's Christmas by the bay, the fog's a memory to return again in May. It's Christmas by the bay, where the sights and the stars above are inviting us to stay. Yes, it's Christmas by the bay. The city sparkles now as the carols start to play. It's Christmas by the bay, candles glow, and our hearts are light in a most familiar way. Where the stores are decorated and the chill is in the air, we'll be holding hands together by the tree in Union Square. For it's Christmas by the bay, the time to celebrate in a San Francisco way. It's Christmas by the bay, I'm with you in my favorite place, my favorite holiday. It's Christmas by the bay, time to celebrate in a San Francisco way. It's Christmas by the bay, and I'm with you in my favorite place on my favorite holiday. I'm with you in my favorite place on my favorite
Mary, did you know that your baby boy would one day walk on water? Mary, did you know that your baby boy would save our sons and daughters? Did you know that your baby boy has come to make you new? And that child that you've delivered will soon deliver you. Mary, did you know that your baby boy would give sight to a blind man? Mary, did you know that your baby boy would calm the storm with his hand? Did you know that your baby boy has walked where angels trod? And when you kiss your little baby, you've kissed the face of God. Mary, did you know? The blind will see, the deaf will hear, and the dead will live again. The lame will leap, the dumb will speak, the praises of the Lamb. Mary, did you know that your baby boy is Lord of all creation? Mary, did you know that this baby boy would one day rule the nations. Did you know that your baby boy is heaven's perfect lamb? And that sleeping child you're holding is the great I am. Mary, did you know? Did you know? Did you know? Did you know? Mary, Mary, did you know? Did you know, Mary? Did you know, Mary? Mary, Mary, did you know?
I like calling her. So, this is really one of the two nights of the year, two moments in this building of the year that's probably the most challenging for someone like me because we have a lot of guests. And all kidding aside, I know I won't see half of you, three-quarters of you until Easter again, at which time we'll be very happy to welcome you back. In the meantime, I've got to talk to those who call this place their home in such a way that they're not snoring or falling asleep, while also not talking down to the guests and visitors who are wondering why they're here or how they got here, or thinking, where is Center for Spiritual Enlightenment? I thought it was on the Alameda. But I'm up to the task because I want to tell you what we're up to here is pretty simple. We are devoted to creating a life of workability and to creating a world that works for everyone. And I have one simple message. There's only one message to give, and I spend my whole life creating ways to dress it up in such a way that it's presentable for you. But the one message is this: there is a power to which everything is possible. And it's not a person, although it's a presence. And this power to which everything is possible is in and through everything, including you and the chair you're sitting upon and the very air that we breathe. And the way that you think tends to reproduce somehow, some way in your life. What you dwell upon tends to come back to you. It's one of the reasons I love all the faith banners that are here in this room. And for those of you who are live streaming online, you can see those on our website that basically and simply tell you that there's one message in and through everything. Don't do anything to anyone else that you wouldn't want someone to do to you. So Christmas is a magnificent time, Christmas time, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, solstice, to simply say to everyone in this room what those of us who call this place home already know on some level and in some measure. Whether you believe in one God, or many gods, or it's all God, or no God, there's a place for you in this world. Because what we're up to is utilizing spiritual principles to make an impact. So I am really happy about my spiritual practice because it doesn't just keep me oblivious or calm while the world is chaotic. Instead, I am really clear that my spirituality means nothing if it's not generating results. To me, if what we're up to here doesn't make an impact in the world, doesn't change how we experience standing in line at Trader Joe's or watching the price of gas go up, or wondering whether or not we can afford to live where we're living, or how am I going to mend this thing that the doctor told me that I have, or how I'm going to make amends for having hurt the feelings of my beloved. If it doesn't impact my world that way, then we're just up to fantasy, and we can get that online. So what I do want to say to you, though, is one of my favorite stories doesn't come from the Jewish or the Christian or the Buddhist or the Taoist or the Hindu or the Islamic tradition. It comes from England, and it's called A Christmas Carol. And every year, the week before Christmas, I go see A Christmas Carol at the conservatory, the ACT in San Francisco. Thank you. I go see A Christmas Carol, and I totally love it because I get to watch as Scrooge gets to go to visit the ghost of Christmas past. And he's visited by the ghost of Christmas present, and then the ghost of Christmas future. And why I love this show so much, even though, by the way, have you ever seen it? It's likely you will see it again. And here's an interesting thing. You know how the story's going to end. But even though you know how it's going to end, you're fully present in it. Because what's happening on the stage is not really happening on the stage. It's happening inside of you. Because you're measuring it based upon what's going on in your life. Did you say something to someone for which you need to apologize? How many regrets do you have? Is there any way that you can alter such so that your future is brighter and more rich and full? So when I'm watching A Christmas Carol, I'm actually watching the ghost of David past. And I'm watching the ghost of David present. And I'm watching the ghost of David future. And what is so beautiful about this story for me is that I get to watch even the most curmudgeon of folks, the most despicable of characters. He is able to alter himself such that he makes an impact in his world and people genuinely learn to love him. Now, I'll bet that there's somebody in this room, at least one, who thinks they're not worthy of being loved. And I'll bet you that there's at least one person in this room who has huge regret. And I'll bet there's someone in this room who's more than a little bit afraid. But the beauty of like the Christmas story and the beauty of a Christmas Carol and the beauty of anything by Dr. Seuss is it tells us not necessarily what happened as a factual event. Or as one of my teachers says, David, the Christmas story is not about what happened. It's about what happens. Christmas is not about what happened. It's about what happens. What happens is struggle and strife and regret and remorse and triumph and resurrection and a new way of living. But we take these stories so literally that it's kind of disappointing because you think then that leads you out. Tonight when we come up and light our candles, it's my hope that you light the candle as a brand new you. It's one of my favorite things to consider, is that when you leave here tonight, you don't leave here more than what you were. You don't leave here better than what you were. Or you don't even leave here different than what you were. But you leave here actually a person who has never existed before. That you leave here tonight brand new. And the only thing that will make that happen is you saying so. Really, you say so. The reason why you have power in your life is because you say so. And the reason why you don't have power in your life is because you say you don't. I have a friend, well, I'm blessed to call him a friend. He's really a mentor and a hero and a therapist and a psychiatrist and in addition to giving people great medication. He's not at all afraid to get down and dirty with people and tell them what's going on in his life. And he was telling me once about what was going on in his life. He had been together with a man named Alan for 20 years when Alan discovered that he was HIV positive. And Alan passed away about 5 years ago. But before Alan passed away, they bought a house in Palm Springs, and they would go there a few times every year. But every time that they would leave, well, I'm getting ahead of myself, 2 years after Alan died, Frank is the man I'm talking about. He told me, David, as I was packing up my house in Palm Springs to head back to the Bay Area, I was depressed and unhappy and sad and heavy-hearted. And he said, I wondered, well, why am I that way? Because I just had the best vacation. I had dinner with friends. I got to catch up on all the movies I wanted to catch up on. I got to lay around the house and lay around the pool, and now I really want to go home. So why was I depressed? And he said the reason why he was depressed was because 2 years earlier, every time he and Alan would go to their house before Alan died, every time he and Alan would go visit their house in Palm Springs, when it was time to pack up to head back to the Bay Area, Frank started wondering, is this the last time that Alan will be here? And he began to get sad and depressed, thinking this may be the last time that Alan sees the Buddha house here in Palm Springs. Now, even though Alan had died 2 years earlier, as I fast forward, even though Alan had passed away and Frank had had a great time, he was still depressed. And I said, well, Frank, why was that so? I mean, you're a physician. You have the ability to write prescriptions. You know what goes on in the machinations of the human mind. Why were you depressed? And he said, David, I realized I was depressed because I had a habit of being depressed. He had created a habit of packing up the house and being depressed while he was doing so. So much so that he no longer even thought about it. He just automatically went right into being unhappy and being depressed. So I'm sharing this with you just in case you have a little depression in your life, or a little bit of unhappiness this time of year, or some unrequited, unresolved, unfulfilled hopes and dreams and ambitions. It's possible, I dare say it's possible, that you may be experiencing disappointment, depression, unrequitedness simply because it's a habit. But the way to truly know is tonight when you come light your candle, you will make a declaration. I really got to stop drinking. Or actually, I think I'm behind. I really got to start drinking. Yeah. Let me back up just a little bit, and then we'll get on with the candle lighting. Here in this center, we enjoy the exploration of the Christian and Jewish scriptures, as well as the Bhagavad Gita and the Quran and the Vedas and the Dhammapada and Star Wars and the Hunger Games and 50 Shades of Grey. Oh yeah. Because God is everywhere. Because God is not man, nor is God woman. God is presence. God is presence and present, just like electricity is always present. Whether you use it or not doesn't mean it's not present. Like if I turned off the lights in this room, it would be dark, and I would lament that it's dark, and I'll say, well, there's really no power that's going to make it bright again. Well, there is if I know how to use it. So I just go and flip on the switch, and then I have lights. So it's a miracle. I have lights. But it's not really a miracle. It's just the using of certain principle. That's what we're up to. We're up to using principle. And so in this room, we're next to people who are devout Christian and devout Catholic and who are practicing Buddhists and Taoists and Jews. And in this room, there are pagans and wow, there's that octave again. I'm now officially in midlife. I'm doing that puberty thing again. I expect to be very thin and filled with beautiful hormones someday soon. The ones that I want. Not what is this? What is this about? Anyway, where was I? Using that principle. And so the way that we use it is declarative. And this is where we borrow from the scriptures of all the world. Tonight happens to be mostly following the Christian tradition because that's what's going on in the United States right now. It's what's going on. And really, you can resist it or you can go along with it. But like that movie, the Marigold, Best Exotic Marigold Hotel, it's like the ocean's coming at you. Christianity's coming at you. You can resist it like a wave and be knocked over, or you can dive right into it. So that's what we're up to. We're diving right into it. And all of the world's scriptures basically say this. The thing itself has a name. And the name is I am. And you are using its name every time you declare I am something. I am sick. I am ugly. I am fat, I am no good, I'm invaluable, I am hurt, or it begins to alter when I am better and better, and every day in every way I'm getting better and better, or I am better than I was yesterday, I am a new person as I leave here tonight. It's declarative. It's that easy. And Big Daddy in the sky is never going to come save you and rescue you. We've been trying to get him here a lot. We've been doing everything we can to seduce him. But he is not interested because he doesn't exist. Santa exists, but that God does not exist. But that God has been confused as Santa for many years. He's making a list and checking it twice and gonna find out who's naughty or nice, right? And it looks a lot like Zeus. Wow, I'm all over the map. Now I understand why I don't see most of you till Easter. And I'm okay with it, because by the time you come back, I will have perfected my craft. So again, what we're talking about tonight, it's not about what happened. We're not here to revere what happened 2,000 years ago, or what the story says about what happened 2,000 years ago, or what my mother believes happened 2,000 years ago. We're here tonight to experience what happens. And what happens is, when you make a declaration, like, I am peace, I am light, I am new, I am the thing itself, I am kind, I am good. When you make those kinds of declarations, the world alters. And then we get to be kind of like Fezziwig. Fezziwig was the character in the first act of A Christmas Carol. Fezziwig was presented to Scrooge by the ghost of Christmas past. And Scrooge started to, his heart started to soften, and his body began to loosen up, and his mind began to broaden when he saw Fezziwig, because he remembered Fezziwig, his past employer. Fezziwig had the power to make their job happy or sad, to make their work heavy or light, to make their world dark or bright. And part of the consternation of Scrooge was that he realized he too had that power, but he wasn't doing anything about it. So I close with, you may know all kinds of things about Christmas and Hanukkah and Kwanzaa and solstice, but if that knowledge doesn't alter your world, what good is it? So I'm really interested in watching a world that works for everyone. And I'm tired of praying for peace when I know that the first step towards peace is when I am a peaceful person. I must be peaceful. And by the way, when I declare that I am peaceful, I am going to be surrounded by non-peace, so I have an opportunity to generate the thing that I said that I was. Because God's not going to give me peace like Santa's going to deliver it in my stocking. Because peace is not something that you can get. Peace is something that... Bring it on. Actually, you guys, this is how church is done. But peace is not something that you get, or that you unwrap, or that you can buy, or that you can get online at Walmart or Target or Amazon or Craigslist. It's not something that you can barter for either. Peace is something that is generated inside of you. And it's only generated when it's needed, which is generally in the presence of non-peace. So when your world is looking non-peaceful, be glad that your prayer is being answered. Did you get that? Get it. And if you don't get that, then watch the movie Evan Almighty. That's your Christmas assignment. If you don't know what I just said, watch Evan Almighty. Let's get on with it, shall we? So the ushers are going to come forward and help us with the sharing of our gifts and tithes and offerings. And I'd like to say to every one of you here, thank you for your generosity, for those of you who are putting something into the basket. For those of you who are not called to put something into the basket, bless the basket as it passes by you. But don't feel anything bad about not putting something in. Agreed? Agreed? But I ask you one promise. Make one promise to me. Do not take something out of the basket as it passes you, okay? And please say with me our giving affirmation for this month. My life is filled with many wonderful people who bring me gifts of joy and happiness. I spread the blessings of the season, for I am a shining star to all who see me, a beacon of hope and peace and prosperity in our world today and the year ahead.
Join us in singing, I am a radiant light. I am a radiant light. I shine the light of love. I shine the light of love. Let's say it again. I am a radiant. I am a radiant. I shine the light of love. I am, let's say I shine the light of peace. A peace. I am a radiant light of love. I shine the light of peace. I am a radiant light. I shine the light of wisdom. I shine the light of wisdom, yes, a radiant light of God. I shine the of wisdom. I am a radiant light. I am a radiant light of joy. Yes, let's say it again. I am a radiant light. I shine the light of joy.
The licensed practitioners, the licensed prayer practitioners who are going to help me out, please come up here. Michelle and choir and David, thank you very much for being here tonight. Members and friends, I'm grateful that you're all here. I'm asking you to join me in consciousness like we do if we're even at a wedding. Every person who walks up to these salt boxes to place a candle is making a declaration for their life, and I want to bear witness to that, and I'm asking you to do the same. Even if you don't see them, if we could just hold the space and in the environment for possibility and transformation, I'd be very grateful for whatever that means for you. Tonight we're going to take on the Catholic tradition, because I got to tell you, the Catholics know how to do it. And for those of you who are wondering if that was disrespectful, it isn't. I was born and raised Catholic, and it never goes away. And to me, being Catholic is like being American. It's part of my heritage, and I take it on with full happiness. And what I've noticed is Catholics have this great way of creating a symmetry in the room. So tonight the ushers are going to stand on that side, and they're going to call rows forward one by one by one. If the rows would come this way, and we're going to do counterclockwise. So there are 4 spaces at which at any time someone can light their candle. If you just come up, light your candle, and I have a request. Put it as far back in the salt boxes as possible. Please keep that in mind if you do, because if you're not able to do that, one of these practitioners will prayerfully move the candle farther back for you. The reason being, if the front of the box is all lit, someone's going to catch on fire when they try to put it in the back. And we don't do that when we have guests in the room. We only do that when it's just members here. Okay? Because we don't want any bad press. It's really bad press. You know, that church that's biting the heads off like chickens is setting people on fire on Christmas Eve. It's not a good thing. So when I light my candle, I'm going to declare just to myself what's being born in me tonight. Because that's what's going on. What's being born in me tonight? Because I want to leave here like you. I want to leave here new. A man who has never lived before. Brand new. And I want to make a declaration in front of these prayerful people who will hold that for me. So do you have any questions before we start? We're going to be singing carols. The slides are going to be on the screen as the choir sings. Hopefully we've got this synchronized. If we don't, maybe you'll want to follow Michelle, because Michelle may not follow what's up there anyway. Right? Is that right? Oh, look at them. Okay, so let's move into prayerful pose then, and I'm going to ask Michelle and the choir to just take over. Reverend Susan, have I forgotten anything?
All is gone.
The lyric for this next selection is entitled, I Am Light. The choir will establish it. We'll ask you to join in with us. Ready? I am light, I am light. Bring your voices to the room. I am light, I am light. 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 Join us and say, I am light, I am light. Ooh, I am light, I am light. Oh, say I am light. Oh, I am light. Ooh, we are the light. Oh, bring your voice and say, I am light. Oh, I am light. I am light. I am light, yes. Oh, yes, we are the light. Oh, yes, the light. Say for yourselves tonight, I am light. I am peace. I am truth. I am wisdom. I am all these things. I am. Oh, yes, yes. I am light. I am light. Ooh, I am light. I am light. Oh, yes, I am. Oh, yes, I am light. for the choir while they light their candles, please. Continuing to hold the intention as the last people come to light their candles.
That Jesus Christ is born. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go
Tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. Go tell it on the mountain. Go tell over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born.
You quick stop this on real quickly. You don't need it. I can. You can hear me. I can hear me. Few very brief. Our staff offices are going to be closed. We're giving the staff a holiday. They will return after January 2nd. There are no Wednesday classes this week or next week. Since Christmas Day and New Year's Day will resume on the 8th. There is the Thursday Night Awaken series. So if you want to come on Thursday night at 7 this week, next week, be in the silence, share with one another, share a meal, that's happening. Sunday services on the 29th will feature Reverends Tony Cormier and Valerie Reeves. Dr. David will be in Puerto Vallarta. And I don't know where I'll be, but I'm here. And we do have, I will be here for our amazing New Year's Eve service. It's on the 31st at 5 p.m. It's only 1 hour from 5 to 6. There'll be light refreshments afterwards, so I need to come here and get your dog on before the ball drops.
That's the Reverend Abigail in the room? Yeah. Hey, do you remember the old benediction we would do? No with me, you're never alone. Say it out loud. You guys, please take the hand of the person on your right and on your left and join Reverend Abigail in the moment of benediction.
Know with me that you are never alone. That we can never be separate. And that life is in my body.
Life is in my body.
No. That's mine. You guys, it's good to have Reverend Abigail in the house. Know with you that you are never alone. God is where you are right now and always. And the only thing that Reverend Abigail and I will ever need to do is look inside ourselves to know that we are guided and sustained and directed and inspired by this thing I believe it. I accept it. I express it. Just the way that it is. And just the way that it is not. Thank you, life. Merry Christmas. Hey man, good to see you. How are you? Bye guys. Don't go anywhere. Hey, good to see you guys. Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas to you. You too, Sam. Nice to meet you. Bernie, good to see you, man. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas. Thank you for being here today. Pleasure to meet you.
I've been here before, but
You're B.
I am B. David, it's surprising me.
It's good to see you. Happy holidays. Oh, Easter's fine. I'll see you then. Happy holidays. Pleasure to have you here. Pleasure is mine. Nice to see you.
I saw her on you a little bit. I saw her moving her hands a lot.
Oh, yes, my baby.
It's what it is, right?